Hi, I'm Frank Wright from publicspace.net. In this short tutorial, I'll be addressing a question that my users ask a lot. How do I get my photos to sort correctly in the Finder? So let's get to it. In this folder, I have holiday pictures from two different sources: my Sony DSLR camera and my iPhone. As you can see, my DSLR photos start with DSC underscore, and my iPhone pictures start with IMG underscore. Both not very meaningful names. Now, if you look at the file creation dates, you can see that all the pictures from the same camera have the exact same creation date. That is because this is the date that the photos were imported onto my Mac, not the time and date that the actual pictures were shot. Now, getting the pictures to sort in their proper chronological order in the Finder can be achieved in two different ways. The first is to give them a more meaningful name and make sure that the chronological order is encoded in the sequence number that follows that prefix. Once that is done, you can sort by name to get the correct chronological order. I have made another video on how to achieve exactly that, and I have linked it below in the description. This approach works great when you have a single event, say a family holiday to Kos in 2019. As soon as you add another event, however, say your Lisbon 2017 trip, that system no longer works because of the alphabetical sorting. Now the photos from the earlier trip to Lisbon will be sorted after those of the Kos holiday snaps. The second approach is to make sure that the creation date that the Finder uses matches the actual time and date that your photos were taken. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can achieve that. Our secret weapon is going to be my Better Find Attributes tool. First, we will download it from the website at publicspace.net. Click on the Better Find Attributes, wait for the page to load, then go to Download and choose the correct download for your macOS version. Once downloaded, click on the Show Downloads button and click the Show in Finder button. Double-click the DMG disk image. Drag the Better Find Attributes icon to the Applications folder alias. Double-click the Application folder to open it. Find the Better Find Attributes and double-click to launch. We then simply select all our files and drag and drop them into the preview table. Better Find Attributes is quite a powerful program that allows you to change all kinds of file attributes, including file creation and modification dates, photo and video shooting dates, file flags, etc. But in this tutorial, we will use just one specific feature: the copy the EXIF content creation timestamp to the file creation date action. When I click on a file in the preview, the info pane at the bottom shows all the metadata that the Better Find Attributes knows about. The creation and modification dates are what the Finder uses. These dates are managed by the file system and are meant to represent when the files, not their content, were first created on the file system and when they were last modified. Just below, however, you can see the datetime original. This is the date and time that the picture was actually taken, and it was embedded in the contents of the file itself at the very moment that the photo was taken. JPEG files are generally encoded with metadata in the EXIF format, and the datetime original field is where this standard puts the shooting date. This field is also used by many other common camera formats, like the ARW RAW files that my Sony DSLR produces. But not all file formats have this specific field. A lot of video formats, for instance, have completely different metadata. This is why Better Find Attributes talks about the content creation and the composite date. This just means that if the program can't find the datetime original field, it will try finding another metadata field that makes sense. You can fine-tune which date is used with the two pop-up buttons below. The first determines which field is used for pictures, the second which one is used for video files. So if your files don't have the normal fields, just find the right date in the info pane and use that one instead. 99% of the time the default values are fine. You can see in the composite column which date is currently being used, while the created column shows the current file creation date value that the Finder uses. All we need to do now is to click on the Perform Changes button. Back in the Finder, we can now see that our photos are sorted in the correct chronological order, independently of their file names and across events. You can try Better Find Attributes for free, but it is limited to changing at most 5 files at a time. Better Find Attributes has several companion products. Better Find Rename is my batch file renaming tool that I mentioned earlier. I have linked the tutorial on how to give your photos meaningful names with sequence numbers in the description below. Better Find Rename is a very powerful tool that can do pretty much any renaming job you throw at it. Pigmin Folder Machine is a program that allows you to one-shot reorganize your entire photo collection into a custom folder hierarchy, say by year and month. And finally, Nifty File Lists makes it easy to create structured file lists for filing or for import into Excel or a database. You can include a host of image, video, or other metadata, such as camera make and model, lens information, exposure information, file comments, and much more besides. If you want to see more tutorials on any of my tools, please let me know down in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and have found it to be useful.